In the headlines, stranded Nigerians fleeing Sudan finally arrive Abuja. Senate approves restructuring of 22.7 trillion naira loan request. Lagos, Ogun, Kano top as internet subscribers hit 154 million. And on the international scene, UN pressures Sudan's warring generals to guarantee humanitarian aid access. Hello and welcome to News Update on Trust TV. I am Sagir Ibrahim. Hello and welcome once again. The Air Peace flight carrying over 270 Nigerian students from the Aswan Airport in Egypt has landed at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja. The NAF C-130H jet, also conveying about 80 persons, also touched down moments later. Since April 15, Sudan has been plunged into armed conflict with clashes between rival factions of the North African nation's military government breaking out in western Sudan, in the city of Khartoum and in the Darfur region. Hundreds have since been killed, while thousands of others have suffered injuries. The evacuees arrived at the airport amid heavy security presence, including mostly wingmen of the Nigerian Air Force. The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management, Sadia Farouk, the Chairman, CEO of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri Erewa, and the Director General of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Ahmed Mustafa, were at the airport to receive the students. Farouk said the returnees would be given 100,000 naira each to enable them to reach their final destinations. The NEMA boss also noted that 4 aircraft were expected to arrive on Thursday, adding that they would convey almost 400 persons. According to him, Asman Air has joined Air Peace in the evacuation efforts.
Close, okay, please. The back of your hand, beautiful. Back of your hand, close that, just close, beautiful. Next, please. Close that, please. Beautiful. Next. Baba, hold on. Pull on. Kaja, cire wannan abun kaje da goshinka. Kaje bishi. Your forehead, gwada da goshinka yi kasa. Zo, goshinka kawai hannunka is beautiful. That's fine. There you go. The back of your hand only. Closer to the camera. No. It's right again. But closer. Move your hand closer to the beautiful. Please. Next. Yes, please. Closer, please. Closer. Beautiful. Try your other hand, please.
Also, the Senate President has approved the sum of 22.7 trillion that was spent by the executive arm of government without the initial approval of the National Assembly. The upper legislative chamber approved the request on Wednesday after the Senate leader Ibrahim Gobir presented a report. Gobir said some of the beneficiaries of the funds are the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Nigeria Bulk Electricity Trading, Azura Power West Africa, Niger Delta Power Holding Company, and AccuGas Limited. The 22.7 trillion naira is money borrowed by federal government from the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, through the Ways and Means advances. President Muhammadu Buhari had asked the Senate to approve the sum in December 2022, but some senators, mostly of the opposition, kicked against it and demanded that records of what the funds were spent on be provided before approval is given to his request. Also, the Senate has urged the government of the United Kingdom to grant former Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu and his wife Beatrice clemency. The resolution of the Senate followed a motion on the matter at Wednesday's plenary moved by Senator Chukwuka Utazi. Senator Utazi pleaded for support from the Senate to urge the United Kingdom government to grant the former Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu and wife pardon as their first-time offenders. The Senate President Ahmed Lawan, on his part, appealed to the judicial authority of the United Kingdom to temper justice with mercy, considering the relationship between Nigeria and the British government, as well as the input of the former Deputy Senate President in the development of parliamentary issues in ECOWAS. The final sentence on the organ harvest allegation case comes up on Friday, May 5th, in the United Kingdom.
The good standing of Senator Ike Ekweremadu as his former Deputy Senate President for 12 years running, and as the former Speaker of ECOWAS Parliament, and considering the enormous contributions he did make in the development of democracy in Nigeria, West Africa, and beyond. Whereas these candidates were first offenders and do not have any previous criminal records, and considering that Ekweremadu was ignorant, that seeking out kidney donors was a crime in the United Kingdom, even applied to the British High Commission in Abuja for a grant of travel visa to the alleged donor, clearly stating in writing the purpose for the travel visa.
Let me conclude by seeking tempering justice with mercy by the British judicial authorities, that when it comes to the sentencing, it should be considered that this is the first time ever that the distinguished Senator Ekweremadu will be facing this kind of situation. And this is also should be seen in the light of the relationship between our parliaments, our governments, and our nations. We promise that we will always make ourselves law-abiding, whether inside our country or outside our country. But this particular issue, to us, is a major diplomatic issue as well.
In politics, the national chairman of Nigeria's ruling party, the All Progressives Congress, APC, Abdullahi Adamu, says the party is building consensus around zoning of the leadership of the 10th National Assembly. The chairman said this on the sidelines of a National Working Committee meeting of the party convened to deliberate on burning issues raised by the APC National Vice Chairman Northwest, Salihu Lukman. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports.
There has been an easy calm in the national leadership of the APC since Lukman drags its national chairman Abdullahi Adamu and the national secretary of the party Yola Omishare before a federal high court, challenging the party's leadership for not convening quarterly meetings of the National Working Committee (NWC) since assumption of office. The national vice chairman Northwest was earlier recommended for expulsion by the party's national legal advisor for taking the party to court. Also accused the national chairman of pocketing the NWC members and running a one-man show, giving him a one-week ultimatum to address the issues.
We looked at some internal, some domestic housekeeping matters with a colleague that you know who has expressed concerns about some things he believes the party should be doing.
After 5 hours deliberations on the burning issues raised, the NWC came up with the following resolutions.
We have intimate consultations with our brother here, the National Vice Chairman, Northwest, Comrade Lukman Salisu Mohammed, on issues that we are aware of, like the legal action instituted and some other publications credited to him. And we are able to reach a resolution that this suit is going to be withdrawn unconditionally, and that he has rendered his unreserved apology for any seeming embarrassment that his suit or publication may have caused.
Speaking earlier on the uncertainties surrounding the zoning of the 10th National Assembly positions, Abdullahi Adamu says the delay in taking the decision was to carry along the president-elect in taking a stance on the matter.
We cannot stop those who are ambitious or zonal interests or even individual interests, institutional interests. We cannot deny them. And for as long as that is there, we have to find a way, persuasive manner of getting some level of consensus. And that's what we are working on. It's not a one-day affair.
The All Progressives Congress won the just concluded presidential election, secured a majority of the parliamentarians at both the upper and the lower legislative chambers of the National Assembly. But the party is yet to decide on where the leadership should emerge based on existing zoning arrangement. Shapir Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 presidential elections, Peter Obi, and his running mate, Datti Baba Ahmed, have been pardoned for attending a National Executive Council meeting organized by the Julius Abure-led faction held last month in Asaba, Delta State. The pardon was announced in Bauchi during the National Executive Council meeting presided over by the Bashiru Lamidi Apapa-led faction of the Labour Party. Adamu Imam reports.
According to a communique issued at the end of the NEC meeting, the factional leadership of the party stated that one of the major resolutions of the NEC was pardoning and forgiving its 2023 presidential candidate, Peter Obi, and the vice presidential candidate, Yusuf Datti, for attending what they describe as an illegal NEC meeting in Asaba. While responding to journalists after the meeting, the national factional chairman spoke on areas that led to the party's crisis.
Peter Obi joined us less than 1 year, and I'm 21 years old in the party. If he's commenting that he did not know me, definitely there's more to it. I don't need to elaborate on that, but you should all know who is a liar. Am I the one or somebody else a liar?
A 19-point communique was issued at the end of the meeting and jointly signed by the factional national chairman of the party, and read by Arabambi Abayomi, the faction's national publicity secretary.
That anybody who has no respect for the law of the land, that person should not be guarded. And we have said severally here that the purpose of our behaving the way we are behaving is because we believe in the rule of law. And for anybody who has forged documents and the court has directed that such a person should stop parading himself as officer of the party, definitely anybody who goes to that meeting is acting, maybe I will say, out of ignorance.
In the communique, the factional Labour Party leadership stated that its principals and others that participated in the meeting in Asaba acted ignorantly and in contempt of the FCT High Court restraint order. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
And the Deputy Governor of Borno State, Usman Kadafur, says poverty and beliefs of misguided religious clerics are responsible for insurgency in the northeast. The Deputy Governor stated this when the Nigerian Institute for Security Studies visited him in Maiduguri. He explained that the uneducated population's reliance on the teachings of clerics with half-baked knowledge contributed to the rise of terrorism in Borno State. He said there is need for increase in access to basic education to help in promoting religious tolerance and countering extremist ideologies.
Members of the security agencies and various organizations, even including United Nations, are part of the DDR program that we have been running in the state. And I believe with such programs of the DDR, the radicalization process, it is yielding result, and a lot of insurgents have surrendered. Those who are forcibly conscripted, have undergone a lot of screening processes and reintegrated back into their communities. Some minors, some who have been kidnapped, and a lot of people.
Based on our team, trying to see how globalization is being experienced, particularly in Borno State, in terms of the security challenges you have been facing, we felt it necessary that we come and interact with the people of Borno State, the officials, the NGOs, the common people in Borno State, so that for ourselves, we can put down in writing that, look, what we are hearing, either the negativity of Borno State is not what's happening in Borno State. Okay, also.
A 5-year-old girl, Amina Usman, has been defiled by her 30-year-old neighbor, Mukhtar Zakaria, in Angwanrimi community of Jos North local government area of Plateau State. The incident, according to the parents of the victim, occurred on April 20th when the alleged abuser took Amina to an alley close to the area and defiled her. Ado Musa completes the report.
This is Amina Usman, a primary 1 student who was raped by her neighbor. According to the parents of the victim, this is the second time such incident is befalling the family. They have vowed not to take it lightly with Mukhtar. Narrating how the incident occurred, Amina's mother, Aisha Muhammad, said the suspected rapist had taken Amina out as a friendly neighbor who visited them frequently, but ended up defiling her. Mukhtar is our neighbor, and he sometimes eats from the house. I was busy with domestic chores when Amina went out. I was calling her to come back, but she refused. Unknown to me, he took Amina to a narrow passage and raped her. It was her elder sister, Khair, who had gone out on an errand that suddenly saw Mukhtar defiling Amina. We immediately reported the case to vigilantes, who took him to the police station. The father says she is still traumatized due to the incident. I am still in pain due to what has happened to my daughter. Whoever is found guilty of offense should be punished accordingly. The father of the victim, Usman Ismail, described it as a painful experience. I am really saddened because this is not the first time such ugly incident is happening to my daughter. It has happened to her sister in the past. People then came and begged me to forget about it. I left everything. But this time, I will not leave it. I am calling on the authorities to do the needful, to ensure that the culprit is punished. Although the police is yet to respond to Trust TV's inquiry regarding the incident, it was gathered that Mukhtar is currently at the Criminal Investigation Department of the State Police Command. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
And the Nigerian Immigration Service has rescued 18 suspected victims of human trafficking in the Kano metropolis. The NIS Assistant Controller in the state, A.T. Yayaji, confirmed the development on Thursday in Kano. He said personnel of the service rescued the victims on April 26th at about 1:30 p.m. at Zaria Road and Kurna, Rijal Lemu along Kano-Katsina Road. According to Yayaji, the victims aged between 21 and 43, comprising 4 males and 14 females, were intercepted while on their way to Libya through Niger Republic. He said the victims hailed from Edo, Ogun, Oyo, Ondo, Enugu, Lagos, and Delta states, adding that they had been handed over to the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, to be returned with their families after counseling. You're watching Trust News Update, still to come. We take a look at why rural women return to school after marriage. This and more when we return. Stay with us.
Now, as part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening...
Now, looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130...
a Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Already, if you look at English squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching News Update on Trust TV. Now a recap of some of our major stories. Stranded Nigerians fleeing Sudan finally arrive Abuja. And Senate approves restructuring of 22.7 trillion naira loan request. Moving on, women of Mashigi at Kurmin Kaduna community whose circumstances denied them opportunity to go to school have now enrolled in a school to further their education. The women, who live largely in a rural community, say despite many odds, they want to acquire knowledge to contribute to the development of their community. Trust TV's Bello Musa visits Mashigi community in Igabi local government area, where volunteer teachers use some classes in the only primary school in the community to teach the women. Take a look.
This secondary school is run by the community volunteers to educate their members who are now struggling to learn basic communication in English language. Girls of this community are often married off at teenage age, a practice that terminates their hope to achieve their dreams like other girls in the city due to absence of secondary school in the community.
I did not proceed with my education because we don't have a secondary school in our community, so I was married off. We did not know the importance of education. That is why we couldn't further our education after marriage.
Crossing the river is an obstacle that discourages parents from sending their daughters to secondary school in the city.
Crossing the river was a challenge. The canoe sometimes capsized, especially when it is overloaded with people. The fear discouraged us from going to secondary school. Notwithstanding, few were able to proceed to secondary school.
We start from the right-hand side, meaning that six.
Aisha Aminu, a housewife, completed her primary school 21 years ago, but now enrolled in this school. She has a bigger dream to achieve.
I want to be a pharmacist and also run my own pharmacy. That is why I enrolled in this school.
Dauda Ismail is one of the volunteer teachers in the school.
When we sat down, we see that let us apply for the government to come and approve the secondary school here. For the first place, we start from the lesson, tutorial lesson. We organize those that we think that they can be able to handle JS1. We select them from our initiative, and we call and we gather different our elders, community leaders, religious leaders, and say that yes, let us start with secondary school so that we should apply to the government that we have already opened the secondary school. We need their approval so that they should deploy their staff and take over.
I advise women, especially those who got married early, to go back to school and also ensure their children go to school too.
Educating girls is key to the development of the community. Therefore, they are appealing to the government to build more classrooms and recruit teachers in order to encourage women enrollment in the community. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
30 years after the proclamation of the World Press Freedom Day, substantial progress towards achieving a free press and freedom of expression around the world has been made. This is the view of some media practitioners in Borno State who are of the opinion that the press should be better encouraged to discharge their responsibilities. Adamu Imam reports.
Despite the above assertion, practitioners in Bauchi say they remain resolute in bringing the needed change in nation building while promoting the interests of the common man. They stated this while commemorating the World Press Freedom Day.
The responsibility of the pressman to go scout for the news. It is the responsibility of his employer to facilitate his moving around. But when you don't facilitate, when you just ask him, go and search for news and your livelihood, but don't spoil my name, what are you saying? We have organizations in Nigeria that are doing that. They don't pay their staff, they don't give them working equipment, yet they want them to deliver. How possible would that be? Definitely, such a journalist will play and will go along with the highest bidder. The person that gives him is the person who's going to propagate.
Know how press will operate with 100% freedom. They will not operate free, honestly. Considering the situation we are operating, the condition, even the registering of the media houses, you can see, if the government doesn't want you, hardly get the license to operate, and they can also seize your license in operating. So honestly, you hardly get the 100%. What we are after is at least media and the press should be given the maximum freedom to operate.
Yes, so I will confidently say that 90-something% of the journalists are working for the emancipation of the people, how people will strive in the society, how developmental stories that will protect the interests of the communities, stories that will bring people together, people that will salvage people from other issues that are not needed. So journalists are working for the emancipation of the people.
According to them, although Nigerian journalists are always faced with challenges in the line of duty, they have, however, remained undaunted and urge leaders at all levels to have a rethink on how press issues are handled for the overall interests of the country. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Also, the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, has stated that Nigeria's active internet subscribers has grown to 154 million in the fourth quarter of 2022. The NBS in a report stated that growth was 9.07% from the 141.9 million subscribers in the fourth quarter of 2021. The report added that MTN had the highest subscribers with 65 million users, followed by Glo with 45 million and Airtel with 41.1 million. On state profile analysis, it disclosed that Lagos State had the highest number of active internet subscribers in Q4 2022 with 18.7 million, followed by Ogun with 9.2 and Kano with 8.4 million. Meanwhile, it stated that active voice subscribers in Q4 2022 was 222.5 million, from the 195.4 million reported in Q4 of 2021, indicating a growth rate of 13.87%, while on a quarter-on-quarter basis, it grew by 4.89%. And on the foreign scene, the United Nations pressed Sudan's warring factions on Wednesday to guarantee safe passage of humanitarian aid after 6 trucks were looted and airstrikes in the capital undermined a supposed truce. UN Aid Chief Martin Griffiths said he hopes to have face-to-face meetings with Sudan's warring parties within 2 to 3 days to secure guarantees from them for aid convoys to deliver relief supplies. The UN has warned that fighting between the army and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, RSF, which erupted on April 15, risks causing a humanitarian catastrophe that could spill into other countries. And moving on to sports now, Minister of Youth and Sport Development Sunday Dare has been awarded the Best Performing Minister Award. The Minister Sunday Dare received the award at the Nigeria Sports Governor Merit Award and Nigeria Philanthropist Merit Award held at the Shehu Yaradua Center in Abuja on Wednesday. Represented at the event by his Special Assistant on Policy, Mr. Bamiduro Olumide, the minister thanked the organizers of the awards for the recognition given to him. And with that, we've come to the end of News Update at this hour. Do well to follow us across all of our media platforms. I'm Sagir Ibrahim. Thanks for watching.